Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul Brown, sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy. The Cardinal Cowboy has actually left me in charge of his TV show, Your Little Castle TV show. I won't try to wear the hat. I'm not the Cardinal Cowboy. We will have a great show for you here tonight on ABC 30, Your Little Castle program. Dennis Schlabach, DS Roofing Systems, is with us. Stay with us. Your Little Castle is right now. And hello again, everybody. Paul Brown here, sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy on Your Little Castle program. This is a fun time for me. I really have not had a chance to meet with a lot of you in quite some time. The Cardinal Cowboy said, yeah, get him on there because he's been on TV and radio for like 100 years in St. Louis. So, so this is going to be fun for me. I do appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Again, my name is Paul Brown. I've been on KMOX Radio, KTRS Radio. I was a longtime columnist for the Ladue News magazine in St. Louis, and I've just been around for a long time. Been in Southern Illinois, which is where we're talking to one of our guests here, a local expert in the roofing systems business, Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofing Systems of Southern Illinois. Dennis, thanks again for being with us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Your Little Castle program. You've given me a lot of information already. We've been talking a lot about your experiences in life and your experiences in the roofing industry, and we talked about roofing systems. That's one of the things that I wanted to get back to a little bit, because a roofing system is not just like a roof. I mean, there's so many parts of that go into a roofing system. Explain to me a little bit what the difference is between a system and a roof.
So the best way to explain that on the difference between a roof and a system is a system entails labor, all the components, everything to do turnkey is more or less what the system stands for. That means, so there's a lot of roofing companies out there that will just come in and just provide labor, or they're just perform labor. They're maybe not financially able to buy all the materials or get the bonding and everything they need to back themselves, so they'll just come in and work for another roofing company as a sub. Ours is we do turnkey on the whole roof project.
And one of the big things that when I think of a system, I think of a big commercial job.
Yes.
You know, so you've probably done, and we were talking previously about some of the jobs you've done, and I was just fascinated that you've worked for some of the biggest corporations in America on probably some of the most complicated roofing systems that you can imagine. Pittsburgh Steel. That's, I mean, come on, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
Yes, that was a very challenging one.
Yeah. What had happened? Why did they need you? And what did you give them that they weren't going to be able to get from somebody else?
So the way I got my foot in the door there was we did one for Granite City Steel. And Granite City Steel gave us 45 days to perform their project and complete it. And we did it in 17 to 18 days. We pushed 12, 13-hour days. I put more guys on it. So for them, with a lot of, to run in an industry that is very hazardous, very dangerous, the quicker you can get in and out of their way, you're gold to them. So naturally, bosses talk back and forth, I guess, or whatever, and say, hey, this roofing company performed in a short period of time. They got in, got their job done, got out, everything was safe, nobody got hurt, and they safety check you every day.
Yeah.
And we never got a check mark all 18 days.
So that's a big deal.
That's a very big
safety
deal.
is a huge deal when you're dealing with a big company, especially like a steel factory, where that just part of the name of the business is kind of danger there.
Because if they go out to renew their insurance every year, that's a big gain for them. If they're hiring in subs like us underneath them, and the safety's an issue, somebody gets hurt, it throws their premium up. So somebody like us, naturally, or they like that.
Were they still in operation while you were doing your work, or did they have to shut down?
No, 100% operation.
So they were still going. I mean, so we saw the steel flying
100%.
and the sparks are going, and
100%.
And everything's going on while you're doing the work.
Yes, every single guy had to be tied off. There was a few places that we had 300-some degrees burners down below. If a guy wouldn't have been tied off and would have fell in, he'd have been history.
Wow.
Yeah.
That intense. Okay, so those are some of the big jobs you've done, and you say that you'll do everything. No job's too big or too small. Is that one of your philosophies?
We just did a little well house last week.
A well house.
A little well house, $400. Takes a little to get the big, right?
I guess. So a well house. So it literally was holding a well pump in there, and that was
That's right.
it.
That's right. For a local customer wanted a well house done. Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, so you do a lot of residential. You do the big jobs. You also do the little jobs. And one of the things I was talking to you about was that, we've had a lot of storms in St. Louis. And in particular, we just had one not too long ago. We had hail. I don't want to have to spend my deductible and make a claim to my insurance company and go through all of that and have guys out there tearing up the roof at 6 o'clock in the morning and all that stuff. Am I making a mistake by waiting until, how long can I wait before I'm going to run into problems after I know that I've had some hail damage?
I'll just sit here and tell you that you're going to be 100% making a mistake. I'm not going to say that because it's almost like a gamble. You could have a lot of hail damage and you don't know it. If you obviously have hail damage, your roof is only going to last 40% of the lifespan, maybe even 20%. It may last 50%. So you're taking a gamble, you're taking a risk. So we all know we get hail every year. We'll probably have hail again next year, the year after. We all know that, right? So my suggestion, advice would be is you can get them free in inspection. Don't cost you a dime. Just get it inspected.
From a reputable roofing company.
That's correct.
I don't necessarily want to call my insurance company because as soon as I call my insurance company, now I've made a claim, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, you can call your insurance company and be like, I possibly have hail damage, blah blah, this and that. Can you send somebody out to inspect it? They're not going to turn it into a claim.
They're not
until they say yes, you have damage, and then you can decide, do I want to claim or don't I?
Okay.
And then they'll turn it into a claim.
So, in general, then, you would not recommend waiting too long?
I wouldn't, as far as my perspective, and I'll just give you one example. We have a local customer to our office there, had hail damage 4 or 5 years ago. He's like, no, he's not doing it. 3 years later, he had leaks, this and that. He had some damaged areas where it damaged skylights, it damaged this and that. And but he still turned it in and still got a claim, but it was a harder deal to get it through with the insurance.
We have Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofing Systems of Southern Illinois, one of the leaders in the St. Louis regional area, as well as in a big area of Southern Illinois. And of course, he does work all over the country. We are going to take a time out real quick. As I said, Cardinal Cowboy is not here today. He is out making friends in the community. Let's check in with the Cardinal Cowboy now. I wonder where the heck he is, anyway.
What's your name?
Mark.
Mark, how you doing?
Amari.
Amari, I'm sorry, got that. Amari, good to meet you. What position you play for SLU?
I'm guard.
You're a guard.
Yeah.
You can shoot, dribble, dunk, and the whole thing.
Yeah, just a little bit. I wish I could do it like him, but
We're going to talk to him, too. All right, Amari. How excited are you about the upcoming season for SLU?
I'm very excited. We got a group of guys, that compete and, that's willing to win. So, it's fun. You can't complain.
So is there going to be a potential conference championship in this, maybe? Don't want to get you in trouble predicting. We don't do that in baseball. We don't do it in football. But do you at least feel like you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we got a group of guys that's willing to win, that's willing to dive on floors and get loose balls. So, can't complain, honestly.
They said hard work pays off, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Mark. What's your first name?
Kalu.
Kalu. How long have you been playing with the SLU basketball team now?
This is going to be my second year here now.
So you're excited having a new coach? This is his second year too. Did you come along with the coach? You like this program he's got put together?
Yeah, I came along with him last year. It's a great program, great environment. I'm excited for this new season.
So as a matter of SLU's place in the conference, you think there's a chance you might do well in the conference this year?
For sure. Just got to take it day by day and come compete every single day, and I think we'll have a great chance for that.
What position you specialize in?
I'm a forward.
So you can do those rebounds, maybe a slam dunk, and hit a three-pointer every once in a while.
For sure, for sure.
You need any help with your reverse slam dunk, you let me know.
I got you, man.
All right, everybody. We're here up at the event at Delwood, Juneteenth. Cardinal Cowboy. We'll be back.
Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up!
And welcome back to Your Little Castle program here on ABC 30 TV. I am Paul Brown, sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy today, and I'm here with Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofing Systems of Southern Illinois, and we have been talking about a lot of things. But one of the things I got to ask you, this is a St. Louis thing, and you won't give me the St. Louis answer, but where'd you go to high school?
Trico.
Trico High School. Mm-hmm. You went to Mattoon High School. You started out there at Mattoon. Yeah. And then you went to Trico, and that's in?
That's in Southern, well, Trico will be, it's Jackson County, Illinois.
Jackson County, Illinois.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not really, so it's a small town.
Very small town.
So you're a small town guy. I mean, you're in a big business now, and I know you've got you're really involved in the community. You're a business leader, but when you started out, you were working on a farm.
Working on a farm, and I was one of the, probably one of the, so when I was going to school, as you know, when I started out in school and went on up into my years, I had bad grades. Never been good at school. Hard learner, poor reader. That was me. I'd rather be out doing something with my hands than I would be at school.
So, and when you weren't at school, you were out at the farm.
That's right.
Tell me about the farm.
So, so my dad boarded horses for a good friend of his out of Kansas City, Kansas. He was a big bridge builder, had a lot of brood mares. We would breed the brood mares, throw them up, and then we'd raise the colts until they're a year. Then we'd send them to Kentucky to a trainer. They got trained to send out to do the. We just call it just your regular race horses, but it was a harness race is what it was. And then they'd come back. If they wouldn't perform, they'd come back to us. They're 3-4 years old, and then if they were a good mare, then we'd turn them into a brood mare and raise colts from her, and hopefully that her colts would do better than them.
So this just wasn't, you were raising horses so that people could have the horses that we would see that are, just that people ride just around the farm, whatever.
Yes, recreational.
These are race horses.
That's right.
Now, and you said they were standard bred, but how is that compared? And I know they're for harness racing, and we talked about that, how harness racing is a big deal in Southern Illinois with the World Trotting Derby every year at the DuQuoin State Fair. Before that, it was the Hambletonian, which was a internationally known harness race. This is a different deal than raising horses just for family entertainment or to have a family horse.
So when you were in the racehorse, you can call it an industry if you want, I guess. So you look for horses that had a lot of or they had all the right body parts in the right places, you would say. That were very showy, were very nice, and could perform. They always look for speed, a horse that could have a lot of speed without or coming back that night with their ankles swollen. That was a big deal. So if you had a good mare that could perform within a couple seconds of the race, so that meant you had a good candidate to throw a colt off of her. So you'd look for a good stud horse, and you just you try to produce good ones. And
you were really just a kid. How old were you when you finally got out of the horse business?
My father's still in the horse business.
He's still in it.
Still in it.
He's still got horses in Southern Illinois.
Yes, hired hands now. He actually just downsized, sold one farm. He's in his upper 60s. So I worked for my father in the horse industry until I left or to go on my own. That was when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
So when I was 20 years old, I was done with it. It was nothing but just work sun up to sundown. And if I'm going to work this hard, I'll work to build my own. And I had $2,000 in my checking account. I left. I went out and built a porch for a neighbor friend, and was talking to one of my buddies. He's like, "Hey, you need to go get your Illinois roofer's license, become a roofer." And I was like, "I like roofing. I don't need a license." So I started selling some roof jobs here and there, and did roof. 6 months later, I had a call from somebody from Illinois. It's like, "Hey, we seen you do a roof in so and so town. You're not licensed, insured, and bonded. We'll let you go this time. Next time we won't.
Huh.
So I was like, well, I better do that. So
So you actually took it serious. You got into the roofing business full time. And what is it that you can bring from what you did as a farmer? And I know farmers are the hardest working people in the world, really. I don't know anybody that works any hard. I know there's a lot of people that work hard, don't get me wrong. But when you're a farmer and you have livestock, that's a whole different thing, and you have to learn some great lessons from that you've brought into your world in the roofing systems business.
So I think we all know farmers. We never seen a successful farmer that's lazy, right? A successful farmer that's lazy, wakes up in the morning and lays in bed, is not going to have a good hired hand to run the farm. Roofing industry is the same way. Roofing industry employees is a different breed. We know they're going out working on a roof all day. That's hard on your body, hard physical labor. You get some rough characters. It takes a good leader and a guy with a lot of dedication, not always knowing where the outcome's going to be at the end of the day. The rain is showing 3 o'clock. Can I really do this or not? They don't need to know that you're unsure about it. Just be a good, hard, faithful leader.
But you got to be dependable too. I mean,
Yes.
people have got to know, and that
That's
has
true.
to be one of the
That's true.
lessons that you've
Yes.
learned.
Yes.
Is that when you've got to be there, the horse isn't going to feed itself.
That's true, and that's a very good point. So in the horse industry, when you woke up in the morning, you had a bad migraine, you wouldn't be like, well, I'll feed him tonight. You didn't do that. You went out and did the best you can, got as much done as you can, and then you would maybe went and take the day off. The roofing industry, if you tell a customer you're going to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning to tear their roof off, you're there at 5 o'clock in the morning. If half of your guys show up or not, you're still there. Follow out your word.
And you're there at 5. How many times have you been on the job at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, millions of times. Every morning.
Well, you got to be done before.
I'm one of those. I'm one of those. Is what I call banker's hours. I despise banker's hours. So to me, is your best hours performed on all your work is early in the morning until at noon. When it gets past 1 o'clock, you might as well throw your hours in the wind because your guys are only performing half of what they really can do. So when the heat gets hot like this, we like starting at 4 o'clock. Or we'll talk to the customer. Hey, are you fine if we start at 4 o'clock? We'll put the blame on the heat. It's
Wait a second.
hot.
4 o'clock in the morning?
Oh,
No.
Oh yes, all the time. And we'll try to keep the noise down until 5:30, and we'll run the guys until noon. Call it a day. You get more done in that morning hours than you will in the afternoon in the heat.
Again, and one of the differences that I know of, and there's a lot of roofing companies out there, and they go from city to city to city. You don't have anybody like that. Everybody that you employ are people that you know, that you've worked with, that are part of the community. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I go look for employees, my philosophy is if you're going to go hire male or female individual in, and they're all over the board, with their personal life, they're in a financial bankruptcy, or they can't hold their life together themselves, they're usually going to be the same characters in your business. So my philosophy is if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. That's my philosophy. So I like to go rob people from other companies. That's where I go after.
Okay,
more than once.
Your
Done it more than
competition,
once.
your competition will be glad to know they'll be watching you closely now, Dennis. Dennis Schlabach is with us here on Your Little Castle, DS Roofing Systems in Southern Illinois. We've got to take a timeout. He's going to hang around with us for one more segment. And I've been telling you, Paul Brown is my name. I'm sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy today. A lot of people know who the Cardinal Cowboy is, but you may not know his story completely. We're going to show that to you right now. His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up.
And welcome back to your little Castle program. I'm Paul Brown. That's just we're talking about the story of the Cardinal Cowboy. And he's one of those guys that never let him tell you that you can't do something, because what he went through and what he became and his never say die attitude and he's just a positive attitude all the time. And you kind of had something similar. We talked about it a little bit. You can't say it word for word what your second grade teacher told you, but you can paraphrase, I guess.
Yeah. So when I was a boy in school, I always had bad grades, and I was told one day in school, I won't say who said it. It could have been a student, could have been a teacher.
It was your second grade teacher.
That if I don't get my head out of my ass, that you're never going to amount to anything in life. Never say never, because we will prove you wrong. And that's the philosophy I like to use still today is be a very positive person, be very positive with the people around you. You know, if you really stop and think, who are the people that motivate us the most are the positive people, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, never say never, because you never know where you end up at.
And you've ended up in a great place right now. I know you're in a good place. You were talking about you've just updated your website. So can we take a look at that real quick? At your new website. This is new and improved. It's got. Let's scroll down there a little bit. See what else we can see on here. It's still under construction right now.
It's just getting ready to lodge. So the main deal was that I wanted to bring out on that, if you keep going down, is I wanted to categorize all your different types of roofs. Your residential, that goes under all your residential. Then there you got shingles. You keep going down, it itemizes your different metal types that we can provide then you keep going down, it shows a lot of your churches, your commercial projects. There's some other commercial projects. You know, there's a bank we just recently did. So to me is if I walk into you name it, what kind of dealership? Okay, well, I understand, you know, my vehicles and this and that, but it might be a dealership no, let's rephrase that. I walk into a furniture store. I don't know the different brand names of furniture. I want a sofa, I want a recliner, whatever. Well, we experience this with a lot of customers. They want a roof. They want the best of the best, or they don't want this. Well, we'll sit there and name and, well, what's that? What's that? We'll go on our website. Just shows
and one of the things I notice is the metal roofing. Mm-hmm. This is something that I probably wouldn't consider for my house, because nobody else in my neighborhood has got a metal roof. Where do you find metal roofs are being used right now?
The metal roofs are being used a lot in your rural areas. A lot more people are seeing that we're getting tornadoes and high winds and stuff, and their house is 100% functional. The neighbors are putting new roofs on. People get tired of all these premiums putting new roofs on. So there are more and more metal coming into your cities. They're using more metal on your little eyebrows for accent. Mm-hmm. And they're experiencing that if they have hail damage, that those are untouched, but the shingles are damaged. So it is increasing year by year.
Wouldn't you see on a metal roof? Wouldn't you see little dimples where
If you have
hailstorm?
if you have baseball or softball size, you will damage a metal roof.
So if it's if it's your quarter size hail,
Oh no, quarter or
really?
golf ball size, they're untouched.
Really?
Yes.
And does that go for siding too? Do they do in metal siding? Just
Oh yeah.
roofing?
Yes. No, there's a lot of metal siding being done. More and more.
You've talked about some others kind of a PVC kind of a what is
PVC,
that?
that's a commercial membrane. It's a PVC product, and that's you can go up to golf ball size damage, and hail size on those to damage. Like a PVC is good when you have a building with a lot of chemicals inside, a lot of like your restaurant buildings have all their exhaust fans going out and it makes all the grease and stuff. A PVC will help eliminate a lot of that.
What are some of the other what? So you got shingles, you got PVC, you got metal. I always heard of rubber roofs when I was a kid. Did they still do rubber roofs?
The only ones where you see a lot of rubber roofs done is by a lot of your government stuff. Why? I think a lot of our government engineers are behind times. They're outdated. So you see a lot of EPDM, that's your rubber roof is an EPDM on your government buildings. But no, a lot of your newer ones going forward are TPO, PVC. Yeah, that's your new ones going forward.
Okay, here's your big chance. You've got to tell me right now why it is that if I'm a business owner or I'm a homeowner or I'm a some sort of an institution, and I know you've done you've done hospital work, you've done steel plants, you've done retail centers. What do you tell people? Why should I go with DS Roofing Systems?
DS will stand behind their word if it's losing money end of the day or not. If we tell you that we are going to perform this project, and this is what's on the contract, we are 100% liable to follow this out. And if a customer ever raises a question like, well, anybody can tell you that. I have a couple customers that I experienced the very same thing, that I went beyond, went in the red on, and I followed out to them, and they are very good testimonies. I have their phone numbers in my phone on speed dial, and I used them more than once for a referral.
So you will actually give people the names and numbers of people that you've
will.
worked for. How about Pittsburgh Steel? Could I give Pittsburgh Steel a call?
Yes, you can call the project manager.
He knows who you are, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay,
100%.
all right, that's
We
good to
rubbed
know.
shoulders. We went out and ate many steaks together.
So the folks at the steel plants know who DS Roofing Systems are. Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofing Systems, thanks so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
It was a great
a
honor
pleasure.
to
Yes.
have you here from
here.
Southern Illinois, and we will. We're gonna say goodbye for now. Cardinal Cowboy will be here the next time that you see this program. I'm Paul Brown. Have a great night.